SVG shares his 2024 plans with colleague. Noah Gragson finally announces his 2024 plans, Stewart-Haas Racing. And Gibbs Racing signs 8 drivers for 4 cars. Yeah, we're going to break it all down today on Shifting Gears.
Let's go! That is my guy! Yeah!
I'm Alan Bailey, and before Gibbs Racing signs you or another driver to another contract for not even that many cars, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video, and you can become a channel member by clicking the link in the description to help support the channel and get early access to videos like this, plus exclusive access to our Discord server so that you can see the early breaking news and the rumors and the reports that go unreported here on the channel until we can confirm them. And you can log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Okay, lots to get into with today's show. Every Wednesday we're doing kind of a news recap, and just so happened that this basically just turned into let's wrap up the 2024 silly season. So let's wrap up the 2024 silly season now. Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, announced that he will be running the entire 2024 NASCAR Xfinity Series schedule in the number 97 Chevy for colleague. Kind of took me aback for a minute, I'm not going to lie, because it makes sense. Trackhouse doesn't have an Xfinity program. I would have assumed that they would have put together a program for him, but instead they're working with colleague, and essentially he's going to be the third colleague car. That has me concerned because colleague hasn't been that great in the Xfinity Series for the last few years. They kind of missed that magic a little bit. They've been missing the magic the last couple of years, frankly. So I'm interested to see what kind of cars and what, kind of equipment SVG gets in the Xfinity Series. I'm a little hesitant on that one, but WeatherTech announced that they will be sponsoring him for a majority of the races in that number 97 Chevy. A lot of people like this paint scheme. I think it's not too bad myself. A lot of people were commenting about the yellow number. Guys, it's a white car. You need to be able to see it somehow for the spotters. Trust me, the yellow is going to help out the spotters a lot and make their life a lot more better. Just go with me on that one. But they also announced that SVG will be running a limited Cup schedule for Trackhouse, running 7 Cup races in 2024, including Circuit of the Americas, the Coke 600, both Talladega races, the Chicago Street Course, Watkins Glen in the playoffs, and the second Las Vegas race also in the playoffs. I like it. It's kind of a good mixture of everything. Maybe they're going to add some races for him, but for now, this is good. Focus on the Xfinity car, which, to be frank, isn't really going to help the Cup program a whole lot, but it's going to get him that much-needed seat time in a stock car. And frankly, the Xfinity car, hands down, is the best thing to drive in NASCAR's top 3 series right now. Whether it's the Cup, Xfinity, or Truck, the Xfinity by far is the most fun, and it puts most of the drivers, most of the control of that car in the driver's hands. The trucks are very momentum-based and very aero-based, and frankly, it's turned into a wreck fest. Just look at the championship finale. And the Cup schedule is, not there yet for SVG. He needs to get some experience, not in the Cup Series, but somewhere else. So I love the fact that he's in the Xfinity Series full-time. And it adds another name to the Xfinity schedule that honestly proves the Xfinity Series might be the best series in NASCAR right now. No joke, no disrespect to the Cup Series, and all the offense to the Truck Series, frankly. Now, if you've been a subscriber to the channel for more than a few weeks, you know that we reported on this weeks ago. Back in late October, Noah Gragson finally announced that he has signed a multi-year agreement to drive the number 10 Ford Mustang for Stewart-Haas Racing in the Cup Series. Honestly, I knew that this was coming. We saw this coming. He had essentially signed this contract weeks ago, and for whatever reason, they waited until this long to make it official. If you're unaware, Noah Gragson was suspended earlier this season for liking a racial tweet during the season, and I'll be honest here, he came forward and said he was ignorant, he was insensitive, he's put in the work behind the scenes, he clearly has put in the work behind the scenes, and I like the fact that he's owning up to that. I like the fact that he's not just, he didn't just do the mandatory sensitivity training with NASCAR and then come back a week later. He took a lot of time off, and I think the reason they delayed this announcement was because they are still looking for sponsors, from what I understand, over at Stewart-Haas Racing, which is a bigger problem over there with that four-car organization. But it's also that he wanted to kind of let his name die down, so to speak, and put in more work. Very Kyle Larson-like mentality that he took during the offseason and during the regular season. And honestly, kudos to him. I wish him all the best. I think that he will be a good fit over at Stewart-Haas once they figure out what's going on over there. But let's recap everything that's happened over at Stewart-Haas Racing over the course of the last year. You lose Kevin Harvick, Hall of Fame driver. You lose Busch Beer, his longtime sponsor for that 4-car. You sign Josh Berry. Not a whole lot of other sponsors coming over to that 4-car. With the 10-car, you lose Smithfield, massive, massive sponsor over there. You lose Eric Almirola. Not that big a loss, no offense to Eric. You sign Noah Gragson to that 10-car. Good get. In the 14-car, you have Mahindra Tractors re-sign for that 14-car. Big get for them. They need the sponsor dollars. For the 41, business as usual with Ryan Preece. And yeah, you have some sponsor dollars over there, but a majority of those races are going to be run with Haas CNC machines on the car. I'm worried, y'all. Legitimately, I'm very worried. Unless we see some major sponsor announcements in the coming weeks before Daytona, Stewart-Haas Racing is in trouble financially. I'm worried. I do think that Noah is going to gel over there with his intensity. He reminds me of a mini Tony Stewart, if I'm being honest, which is a good thing. But with Tony Stewart going drag racing full-time next year in place of his wife and him starting a family with his wife, I question if anybody is steering the ship over there again in 2024. And I definitely get the sense that it is a ship without a captain right now, and that there's not a whole lot to be hopeful about for 2024. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we see them in victory lane, but I don't see Stewart-Haas Racing succeeding that much in 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All right, this story is a lot. It's a lot. Joe Gibbs Racing announced their 2024 Xfinity program plans. Didn't announce sponsors. They announced who their drivers are for their 4 cars. Yeah, they're expanding to 4 cars. Let's break it down. John Hunter Nemechek is back. He's going to run 10 races in the number 20, with Eric Almirola running the other 23 races in that number 20. I question why bring back John Hunter Nemechek. I think he just wants a foot in a winning organization. No offense, Legacy. But I think it's interesting that you're essentially dumping 23 races on Eric. That's a lot, man. And I get it. You can only use a cup driver for so many races, but why? What was the point of that? And that is clearly, the 20 car is clearly going to be the all-star car this year. That's going to be the car that, in theory, is winning races, finishing in the top 5 every single week. At least that's the expectation. But honestly, just let Eric run the full schedule at that point. But again, his kids are young. He wants to spend time with his family. I get it, 100%. He had to slow down. To be frank, I think he needed to get in winning equipment again, because he hasn't been in winning equipment for a hot minute. So I get it. I really do. Going to be interesting to see what the sponsorship looks like on that number 20 car. Nothing announced, but we can expect kind of the rotation of the Toyota sponsors. But I'm interested to see if anybody new comes in to that 20 car. We're going to have to wait and see. No surprise here. Sheldon Creed to the number 18 and Chandler Smith to the 81. Okay. Very interesting here. I like the fact that they signed both these drivers. I question why the 81? Like, that's odd to me. That's very odd. Why not put Chandler in the number 19, a car that's already locked in, that's going to be running for the championship? These are the 2 guys who were going to be competing for the title full-time, the driver's title full-time. You got to put them in your A equipment. And to me, the 81, why not put him in the 54? Because I know that's the Kyle Busch number. I know that's the number that Ty Gibbs thinks he claimed for himself. But the 81? Odd choice. Very, very, very odd choice. I guess the 11 wasn't available. I don't know. And again, no sponsorship announced for either of these drivers, but I do think that both are going to be championship caliber, championship contending drivers who legitimately should contend for the Final 4. Both of them were right there and almost did in 2023, so it wouldn't surprise me to see both of these drivers in the Final 4 at the end of the year in 2024. The number 19, though, is very much the development car, which, again, I question. And you have Taylor Gray, Ryan Truex, you have Joe Graf Jr., and 17-year-old William Salach. Wow, this is an interesting mixture of drivers, to say the least. I really don't know. Development cars are usually an uphill battle for the crew, for the drivers. A lot of them met each other when they shot a 20-minute long video announcing the driver lineup. The fact that you had to record a 20-minute video with NASCAR.com to announce your driver lineup says all you need to see about this whole situation over at Gibbs. I get that you have to develop your drivers, but it's interesting that you essentially create another development car for that purpose. And to me, it kind of says that Toyota is trying to move away from the Truck Series a little bit. Yeah, you had Taylor Gray, one of the Truck Series drivers, in that ride. But I mean, why have a development team in the Truck Series if you're going to do it in the Xfinity Series? That's kind of my approach to it. And you can see that. I mean, yeah, Toyota still has their footprint in the Truck Series. I do think that that's necessary for Toyota, but now you can kind of see the writing on the wall. They're moving away from the Truck Series as a priority. I think when you have David Gilliland as your head Toyota team owner, no offense to David, it kind of shows, yeah, we're keeping our foot in the Truck Series, but it's not a Kyle Busch Motorsports. Another big piece of news that got announced this week, NASCAR announced Tuesday that the suspension of Cody Ware has been lifted. The charges against him for domestic violence were dropped when both he and his ex both said in court that neither one of them would testify against each other, and essentially all the evidence was thrown out. So now it becomes a he said, she said with no real evidence, so they couldn't convict. The charges were dropped, but this doesn't mean that something potentially didn't happen. It just means that there was not enough evidence to convict. So because of that, Cody has been reinstated. There's no word out of Rick Ware if he's going to be back in the Cup Series, part-time or full-time. They have not announced the driver of the second car over there, and I think that this was why. I don't know. To me, it wouldn't surprise me to see Cody Ware back, at least part-time, in the Cup Series, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went away completely. I think that Rick Ware has shown that they want to improve the running of that team. Signing Justin Haley's a big part of that, but having guys like Ryan Newman in the car part-time is also part of that. And putting Cody Ware in the car, no offense to Cody, is a massive, massive step backwards in the driver talent over there. And again, no offense to Cody, he's just a young driver who needs a lot more time to develop his skills. I don't think the Cup Series is right for him. I do think that Rick Ware running potentially an Xfinity program wouldn't be a bad idea. But again, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with young Cody Ware. And on a personal note, you might have seen that Team Spire went through a management shakeup over the weekend, the eSport team that I drove for in 2023. And unfortunately, with some managers leaving, priorities have shifted. They've gone from esports to content creation over there. And unfortunately, that means I'm out of a ride effective immediately. I'm bummed out by it a little bit, man. Team Spire gave us our start in the, eNASCAR sphere, and we won a couple of races at Daytona and at Las Vegas this last year for them, and we had good times. We had great times, and I'm going to miss them. But, no time like the present. The 2024 season is rapidly approaching. It's here already in iRacing, so we got to move forward. So we're going to be announcing our 2024 plans tomorrow, actually, on a brand new YouTube channel, part of the announcement. So yes, there is a new channel coming. That is already out there and created. I will go ahead and leave the link in the description below if you want to go over there and subscribe now. But I'm really excited for our 2024 plans. I'm really excited for what's happening with this channel, with the esports stuff, the iRacing stuff, and what's to come moving forward. We've got some really cool partners that we're working with for the 2024 schedule, and we're still looking for more. So we still have room to welcome on in some new partners. So I'm very excited for what the future holds for our new partners and for our returning partners. So we're going to be making that announcement tomorrow, and I cannot wait. Make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss that announcement when it drops on this channel, as well as the new channel tomorrow. But let me know what you guys think about all the silly season news that broke down today. How do you think Noah Gragson's going to do in 2024? How do you think SVG is going to do in the Xfinity Series? And what do you think about Joe Gibbs Racing's 8 drivers for 4 cars mentality? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you come back for the next video and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.